နိုင်ငံတကာခေါင်းဆောင်မှုတက္ကသိုလ် International Leadership University ရဲ့ပါမောက္ခချုပ်တာဝန်ထမ်းဆောင်လျက်ရှိသူဒေါက်တာ Richard Thaler နဲ့တွေ့ဆုံမေးမြန်းခန်းဒုတိယပိုင်းအားတင်ဆက်ပေးလိုက်ခြင်းဖြစ်ပါတယ်။ ILU ဟာမြန်မာနိုင်ငံပညာရေးဝန်ကြီးဌာနမြန်မာနိုင်ငံမှာရှိတဲ့ရင်းနှီးမြှုပ်နှံမှုနဲ့ကုမ္ပဏီများညွှန်ကြားမှုဦးစီးဌာနရဲ့ခွင့်ပြုချက်များဖြင့်တည်ဆောက်ဖွဲ့စည်းဖွင့်လှစ်ထားခြင်းဖြစ်ပြီးအစိုးရဝန်ကြီးဌာနများကိုလည်းတပ်ဆွမ်းသရွေ့အကူအညီပေးလျက်ရှိပါတယ်။ယခုတင်ဆက်ပေးမဲ့ဒုတိယပိုင်းမှာတော့အဆိုပါတက္ကသိုလ်မှာသင်ကြားပေးလျက်ရှိတဲ့ဘာသာရပ်များစွာအနက်မှာအဂတိလိုက်စားမှုတိုက်ဖျက်ရေးဆိုတဲ့ Anti-Corruption ဆိုတဲ့ဘာသာရပ်အကြောင်းကိုမေးမြန်းထားပါတယ်။2025ခုနှစ်မတ်လ28ရက်နေ့မှာမြန်မာနိုင်ငံအတွင်းမှာလှုပ်ခတ်ခဲ့တဲ့ပြင်းအား 9.8 Richter scale ရှိတဲ့မန္တလေးအလင်းကြီးနောက်ဆက်တွဲဖြစ်မြန်မာနိုင်ငံမှာထိခိုက်သေးကျေမှုများပျက်စီးဆုံးရှုံးမှုများစွာရှိခဲ့ပါတယ်။အဆိုပါဆုံးရှုံးမှုများနဲ့အချို့သောပျက်စီးဆုံးရှုံးမှုများဟာအထူးသဖြင့်အဆောက်အဦများပြိုကျပျက်စီးခြင်းများဟာဆောက်လုပ်ထားတဲ့ဆောက်လုပ်ရေးနည်းပညာများအသုံးပြုထားတဲ့ဆောက်လုပ်ရေးပစ္စည်းများအရေးအသွေးအားနည်းမှုကြောင့်ဖြစ်ကြောင်းကိုလည်းလေ့လာတွေ့ရှိနိုင်ပါတယ်။ ILU မှာသင်ကြားပေးနေတဲ့ဘာသာရပ်များဟာမြန်မာနိုင်ငံအတွက်တအားအကျိုးရှိစေမဲ့ဘာသာရပ်များဖြစ်ပြီးသင်ကြားပုံသင်ကြားနည်းများကလေးသူငယ်များကျောင်းသားကျောင်းသူများပါကူဘွဲ့တန်းအထိသင်ကြားပေးနေသူများကိုအတွေးခေါ်ပိုင်းဆိုင်ရာတည်ထွင်ကြံစမှုစီကံလိုက်နာမှုကျင့်ဝတ်စီကံကောင်းမွန်မှုနိုင်ငံသားကောင်းပီသမှုများကိုလေ့ကျင့်သင်ကြားပေးလျက်ရှိနေပါတယ်။အဂတိလိုက်စားမှုတိုက်ဖျက်ရေးလုပ်ငန်းရပ်များဟာမည်သည့်နိုင်ငံအတွက်မဆိုအထူးအရေးကြီးလာတဲ့လုပ်ငန်းရပ်တစ်ခုဖြစ်ပြီးနိုင်ငံတော်ဖွံ့ဖြိုးတိုးတက်ရေးအတွက်စနစ်တကျနှင့်ထိရောက်စွာအကောင့်ထဲပေါ်နိုင်ရန်လိုအပ်ပါကြောင်းနှင့်ယခုတင်ဆက်ပေးလိုက်တဲ့ဒုတိယပိုင်းအစီအစဉ်ကလေးမှလည်းအများပြည်သူအတွက်အသိပညာအတွေးအမြင်တစ်ခုရရှိနိုင်မည်ဟုယုံကြည်မျှော်လင့်ပါကြောင်းတင်ဆက်အပ်ပါတယ်။
Okay, Professor Richard Thaler, we have known that you are International Leadership University, one of the largest private university in Myanmar, particularly in Naypyidaw. We glad to see your university in Naypyidaw, and that you are also offering master and doctorate degrees. Some of these major subjects are quite interesting. Among these subjects, more interesting subjects are anti-corruption. How do you teach anti-corruption in this university? Who are teaching the anti-corruption major subject?
Sure, yeah. So corruption's always a difficult point, right, in any country, including ours.
Yeah.
And you could argue that there's corruption everywhere. It's baked into human nature. You know, when people run out of good ideas, they use bad ideas. And in some countries, they might say, oh, it's not corruption, it's lobbying. You know, but it's ultimately you're paying somebody. You know, it's a quid pro quo. I'll give you money, and you give me what I want. Right? What we try to look at, and we teach. We're not teaching right now, but we have a whole master's program just on that subject. We also have a lot of specific courses on that and courses in ethics and so forth that look at that. So we have to start and figure out why is it happening, right? And if we take a case like our case in Myanmar, this is not excusing it ever because it's never a good idea, right? But if the country is too poor, it's going to be more likely that people need money and they're going to ask for it. Right? And they're going to say, well, just, you know, brother, take care of me this way or that way. The problem is that doesn't give everybody a fair stake in it, right? Is people playing by different sets of rules. So the first big way to resolve corruption is build the economy. Right? If the Myanmar Chat is too weak, if the our trade imbalance is too poor, if nobody wants to buy our shares of our company, or people are afraid to invest in here, it's not that we want to attract, for example, foreign direct investment because we want to have franchises from foreign countries on every corner. That's not the idea. Frankly, we would rather develop our own, from a university perspective, we'd rather develop our own brands and develop our own products that are indigenous to us here. But we don't want to either have a country where people are afraid to invest or afraid to come because they're not sure, are they playing by a double standard? Do I have to do something that would break a law in my country and so forth? And if you kind of think of corruption, it edges along a thing, right? Let's say, you're driving along at night and you speed through a light or something and you get stopped and an officer, says, I have to give you a ticket. And, maybe they suggest, you give them a little bit of D-money or something like that, and then they'll let it go. Well, that's a kind of corruption. Sometimes you're stuck in those things, and the de facto reality is people end up not wanting to do it, but doing it. But that's a whole different level to the thing if you're up higher where you start demanding people to pay you something. Yeah. Saying, well, I'll have to comply. I don't think it's right. I don't want to, but I have to weigh the greater good. Right? I don't want to do anything wrong, but at the same time, I want to, I need to think of all the people I'm taking care of. All the people in my family, my village, my company, whatever it would be. But ultimately, we do a fair amount of research. We do doctoral research in it as well. We've had people who've done their entire dissertations just on that. And I'm looking at what frameworks can we use, what can we learn from other countries, what frameworks can we work, whether it's within the Anti-Corruption Commission here or whether it's within other ministries. We've done a lot in the Ministry of Finance as well, looking at uncovering where are there corruptions and how do we fix them. And all of that just requires really smart people. I think that the good news is that I think most people's heart's in the right place. And nobody wants that because it ultimately makes us all poorer. Right? We don't want, there was a situation many, many years ago, 30 or more years ago in South Korea, where there was a large shopping center. And one day there was a small earthquake and the entire 4-story shopping center collapsed. And I don't remember the number of people, but it maybe 600 or 700 people died in this thing. Well, when they went to look and figure out why did this whole shopping center, this 4-story shopping center collapse, one of the things they found out was the construction company had not actually put the proper steel in it. They had put coffee cans in it to save money. But the government should have known that, right? Well, it turned out that the government inspectors were so poor that they had accepted bribes to not look at it. And what happened in the end of the day was that a lot of people died, right? Now, we've just gone through a 7.7 earthquake ourselves, so we know what that's about. Right? It's pretty painful. Right? I don't know how many buildings, 48,000 or something I've heard. A lot of people died in it, a lot of damage right around this neighborhood as well.
Your house is...
My house is okay, because I built in very traditional style. So that's why I like to look at what lasted. Right? But a lot of the buildings around this university did not survive. As you know, and people died in a lot of housing and so forth. So we're very sensitive to that we need to start to say not just what I know a guy, I have a friend, I have a connection, certainly not corruption like, I'll sign off on this when it's not true, but we need to start to look and say, well, what are earthquake resistant materials? what things make the most sense for us? What types of architecture would make sense in Naypyidaw, in Mandalay, in Sagaing, in places that are potentially along earthquake fault zones? And then we need to make sure that the inspection systems don't have any corruption in them, aren't overcharging people, aren't giving special favors, because in the end people die, right? And that's always the difference between, we're kind of moving into this new world, where even if you think of basic business processes, there's always project management, right? And it's a big deal in every country. How do you manage the project? How do you break down the work breakdowns? Who does what, by when? How do you stay on budget? Well, in the software world, we use a thing called agile project management. It means really quick, because I want to turn it out as the basic iteration of my software as fast as possible. And if somebody's computer crashes, it doesn't matter. There'll be version 2.0 tomorrow. Right? Just download the new update and you're okay. And then it crashes again, your phone crashes. Okay, but download the new one, go to Google Play Store. And so agile project management is kind of the new wave of project management. It works great for most things like software, but it's not a good idea for buildings. It's not a good idea for bridges, right? Because if a building falls down, there's no version 2.0. People are dead. Right? So in those cases, we don't have as much wiggle room for whether it's in the processes or whether it's in certainly the corruption that we need to root out. But I don't think the way to root it out is to hunt down people and find the people who've done something wrong. Probably everybody's done something wrong at some point. And probably me too. I hope not. But it's human nature. What I would rather do is make incentives to do it the right way moving forward, right? Make it so that, in order to get this next benefit, you must comply with these processes in order to, and sort of have a general amnesty for, okay, it's been a rough go, and some people, rules have changed and so forth. But I think we should say, moving forward, how do we, that's just my opinion, how do we make it more profitable, easier, happier, more peaceful to do it the right way? And that's something that we've talked in the past with the Anti-Corruption Commission about, that we think rules and regulations that move forward are probably better than ones that look backward. We can only look backwards so far. We should look back and take the good and let go of the bad.
Yeah.